Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, good morning, good morning, sunshines. Happy Easter Monday. We have made it to another week. It feels kind of weird doing the morning report like on a holiday. Like when there's a snow day or something, or like a PD day or something, or like the last day of school. That's what I'm kind of feeling like today. Like, is it okay to go live? How are you guys doing? Are you having a great Easter weekend? I sure hope so. And I was really hoping that some people who ordinarily aren't able to join us live for the morning report are able to join us today because, of the holiday. They might be just, hanging around at home looking for something to do. I see we got some of our usual crew in the building. Good morning, Ronnie, Allie, Kristen, Tadisha, Acacia, Lucky, JJ. Hey, Shayna, Shani, nice to see you. Hello, Miss Fluffy, Jessica in the house as well. Good morning to you all. And VR is here too. Hey, Boo. Hey, Crazy Dalmatian lady. Hope you all are doing well. The first piece of news that I woke up to this morning about Easter was actually some sad news. Unfortunately, the Pope has passed away, Pope Francis. And, to me, a Pope passing away on Easter Monday of all days is just mind-blowing, isn't it? It's quite the day to pass away. So it's very sad to hear. I know that he was struggling with his health for quite a while. He recently did undergo some sort of a surgery. And so, I hope that, now he and his soul are at peace. And I hope that everybody celebrating Easter is still able to have a good day nonetheless. Good morning, Rebecca. Welcome to your first live. Hey, Delisa, nice to see you. Cami, good morning, good morning, good morning. We've actually got quite a bit to talk about in today's episode of the Morning Report, you guys. We're going to talk about Caitlyn from Teen Mom, discussing the possibility of undergoing a breast reduction. In fact, I think it's her husband, Tyler, who's pushing for it more so than Caitlyn herself. William and Kate skipped out on an Easter celebration with the royal family for the second year in a row. We're also going to talk about Real Housewives star Karen being denied a bid for work release. Remember, she's in jail. She was sentenced to 12 years behind bars. It's not 12 years, sorry, 12 months behind bars. And she wanted to get out on a worker's release, and they refused to allow her to. It looks like Kanye West and Bianca Sensori, his on and off again alleged wife, are back on. They were spotted in Spain. Kristen Stewart is officially married. And last but not least, Post Malone. I don't know what that man is up to. Everybody said like he was supposed to be like the sweetheart and whatnot. And again, I'm not really too familiar with him. The only thing that I really know about him is that he's featured on my favorite song off of Cowboy Carter, which is Levi's Jeans. All I know is that, and he likes to say, yes, man. Yes, ma'am, I think. And I think he took some Ozempic, and that's about it. Okay. But people always said that he was this really, really sweet guy. And so like now hearing about how he's treating his baby mama and like his ex-fiance is actually rather sad. And we're going to get into that, like the whole child support battle and whatnot in this episode. Okay. So like we just said at the top of this episode, Pope Francis unfortunately passed away. It was announced this morning. And, I think this is par for the course when it comes to his particular role, but it was still kind of alarming to me. When I turned on the television this afternoon, as I was having my lunch, they were talking about who could replace him and whatnot. I said, damn, like we just announced that the man passed away and we're already talking about like replacing him. And I found that to be quite sad. Like I get that it's the norm or whatever, but it's never too late to change the norm, is it? I think we could be a little bit like softer with someone who just died and has like all this family and friends, right? Very, very odd. By the way, I went shopping yesterday just to pass the time because it was raining outside, and I found this top. And this girl on TikTok, she had like made a video a while ago about like taking an earring and then putting it like here to like make your top look more interesting. That's what I did today, and I'm so excited about it. I hope I don't accidentally put this like this in the wash later, but just FYI, it's kind of like a fun little thing that y'all can do too. Now, speaking of Easter, we got to talk about Will and Kate, or as some of the Brits like to call them, won't and can't. They're still not really all that interested in participating as working royals. I think they only want to be full-time vacationing royals, right? So the royal family did their annual Easter celebrations this year, Easter Mass and whatnot, and pretty much everyone was in attendance with the exception of Will and Kate. Mind you, Will and Kate, they just wrapped up their second vacation of the year. The first time they were on some sort of a French island, Moustique. And then recently we saw them in the French Alps as well, right? And that was just the other week that they were there skiing together as a family, which is a very, very, very rigorous full body activity. Okay. So I don't know what the excuse is for why they can't show up to something as simple as taking flowers, taking pictures, going for a walk, listening to a few words at church, and, you know, showing that they are active and engaged members of the Commonwealth, right? You know, representing the Commonwealth, representing England and everything like that. So like I said, the rest of the royals were there. You see Charles and Camilla there. I love that blue on Camilla, by the way. That looks really lovely on her. You see Beatrice. You see Eugenie is there as well. You see their mother, Sarah Ferguson. The PDF file himself was there as well. Prince Andrew, Princess Anne was also in attendance. So, you know, in my opinion, it is a really bad look that everyone is there except for, you know, the future heir. It's, you know, and unfortunately, this is something that's kind of par for the course with these two, right? They really have never, in all their years of being working royals, they've never really seemed all that interested in actually being working royals, right? So very disappointing stuff. I'm excited to see what the excuse is going to be this time for that sort of a thing. Not surprising, y'all. Not surprising. By the way, on that Post Malone story, why don't we actually get into that next? Because y'all have a lot to say about Post Malone, okay? But meanwhile, on Will and Kate, Tadisha says it seems like they're tired of royal duties. It really does, you know, and I think with Harry getting away from this, like, I think that there's a certain level of, damn it, like, I wish I could do that, right? From Will and Kate. Like, you can tell that this is not something that they really, well, Kate, you know, even though it felt as though she was kind of like, quote unquote, bred to do this by her mom, especially, like really pushing her towards like getting with William and whatnot and joining the family and stuff. Like, it really doesn't feel like this is something that they really have acclimated to, despite doing it for what, like 20 years now or something like that. Like, at a certain point, I think the jig is going to be up, and I wonder how much longer they can play these games for until people are tired of coming up with different excuses for them, because it's too much. It really is. Thank you so much, Petty LaBelle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It looks orange on screen, but it's actually red. In person. Shani's backyard buddy says, my daughter puts a hoop earring on the back of her shirt on the inside. Yeah, that's smart too. It gathers, it really cinches the waist and everything. Yes. That's a really good tip as well, Shani. Nice to see you, Mariah. Welcome to the live. Welcome. Ronnie says to get rid of the royals. I agree, honestly. Like, maybe it made sense 1,000 years ago, but in modern times, it really doesn't at this point. I think they should be kind of like, you know how certain countries have like non-royals, but like they're from the bloodline or whatever, like Greece or whatever. Like, it should kind of go that way at this point. Now, you guys, I did say I was going to actually sneak up the Post Malone story for you guys. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and do that one? Because I did see quite a few of you guys sharing some comments about him. So I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and get this one going. So again, I don't really know this guy too much. Right now, I only know about his baby mama drama. This was a couple months ago where we saw that he had dumped his fiance and he started going out like publicly with this new woman and whatnot. And now I am hearing that he and his baby mama slash ex-fiance, they were in a race to see who could file for child support first. She was announced via TMZ as having filed for child support in California. However, unfortunately for her in her pockets, Post Malone beat her to the punch and filed in Utah. So apparently, Utah is one of those states that kind of severely limits the amount of child support that you're entitled to. I don't know if it's as restrictive as Texas. I think Texas, even if your baby daddy, baby mama, whatever, is a billionaire, you would be capped at like 2 point something K per month, right? But apparently Utah is kind of harsh as well. And so that is why a main reason why Post Malone wanted to file there. But at the same time, in Post Malone's defense, it seems like he's been living there for a very long time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he and his ex, they were living there together. So in his defense, I do think that potentially she fled to LA or California in general, specifically for the money. And he decided to put the kibosh on it before she could kind of turn the tables on him. So just an FYI on that. Now let me go ahead and see what some of y'all had to say about Post Malone. Ali said Post is doing everything but take a shower. That is one thing about him. He seems like listen, to me, his like when I see him publicly, before I heard all this baby mama drama stuff, he seemed like a really nice guy. But he seemed like a nice, unwashed guy. So I can agree with that. Ronnie says, I don't understand the hype over Post Malone. Me neither. And I feel like that's the thing whenever it comes to like famous men, especially, how many times do you see famous men who are just, in my opinion, right, just not attractive? And then like people are trying to like claim that they are. Like there's this whole kind of like ugly hot sort of thing, like grace that men are always given, ugly hot or dad bod, like if they got a big belly or whatever. Meanwhile, you never really see that for women, right? Like women have to be perfect, they have to be snatched, whether or not they've had 10 kids. Meanwhile, men can look like whatever, and women are going to find a way to like, convince us all that they're, supposedly attractive or whatever. Like, okay. Rebecca says, why would Posty need child support? Is he not rich? No, he wanted to file so that like, yes, she can get child support, but the whole thing is going to be heard in Utah so that, it would benefit him or his pockets, right? In the entire sort of ordeal, because child support is a bit more regulated in Utah than it is in California. California is kind of the wild, wild west. You listen, if any of you guys are trying to trap a baller or anything like that, someone with a lot of money, and you live in the US, go and get your child support, go and settle down in California with that person if you want to get some good money. Avoid Texas at all costs, because that place is not going to be good to you. T. Marie had a comment about the earlier story that we were doing about Will and Kate. Let me put up a picture of Camilla, so she's mentioning Camilla. Marie says, word on the street is Camilla leaked to the press that they were on vacation and where they were, so this was to get back at her. Really? Okay, that could be interesting. To me, I feel like if they were trying to get back at her, it only made them look bad, because literally everybody from the royal family was there, quote unquote, working. Listen, when your job is something as simple as this, wearing a beautiful outfit, collecting flowers that you do not deserve, listening to some people talk for like literally 1 hour, getting your photo taken, being praised for doing quite literally nothing, and you fail to do that, you're not, you know what I mean? Like you're not making Camilla look bad. You're making yourselves look bad, especially when you already have a decades-long relationship, but reputation of being lazy. This only further reinforces that. People are like, why are we always seeing you guys on vacation? You've never called out of a vacation. These people have never said, actually, we have to cancel our vacation because this person's sick. No, like they're always up for it. But when it's time to do something to quote unquote give back to the people who finance them, there's always one excuse or another. And I really think that they need to be dragged for it. It's too much. It really is. Lucky is asking whether or not Post is going to be going for full custody of the child that he shares with his ex. That part has not been revealed. I think that they're going to be going for joint custody or something like that. It's just that he, more than anything, is worried about his pockets. And so he just wanted to make sure that it's heard in Utah, and everything else, like, can be fought over later. But he just wants to make sure that the child support amount is not going to be egregious. Speaking of, what is his rumored net worth, right? Like, I know like he's been around for a little bit. Like, is he in the 20 million range, like higher, lower, something like that? How much money is on the line, y'all? Like he says, so I'm telling you guys, I think there's something wrong with my memory. I'll read something, talk about it, and then go back and reread it like it's brand new. And how long have I been doing this for? Denisha says, I remember years ago, Kale Larry said she was attracted to Post. Yeah, she did. Post Malone. Now it makes sense why. She loves a toxic, problematic baby daddy. Can you imagine Speaking of that, Tanisha, if Kale pulled like a celebrity baby daddy, can you imagine if the baby mama he was fighting with was Kale Lowry? Oh my God, how interesting would that be? It is kind of because you see people from the Bachelor franchise or other reality television franchises like pulling celebrities, right? Or like other reality stars or whatever. But you never actually saw that kind of a crossover in the Teen Mom world. I think the closest we ever got to it was when Chelsea or Macy was dating someone who was into like BMX or some kind of like athletics or whatever. But it would have been really cool to see that kind of like a crossover. You know what I mean? Like some of the girls from the Hills got married to other famous, you know what I mean? The Bachelorette, the Bachelor, all sorts of like that. Good morning, Ashley, Princess Tia, Cynthia, Chocolate Drop. So nice to see y'all. We just talked about Post Malone filing for child support in Utah to avoid having to pay an exorbitant amount of money to his ex-fiance. We talked about William and Kate being the only working royals to miss out on Easter holidays. And the Pope Francis has passed away as well. So we were just kind of getting started. You guys have come here at a good time, okay? So no worries at all. That girl Kel says 50 million for Post Malone. Oh, really? Damn. So it's listed as 100 million. So you think it's 50? Damn, I didn't know he had it like that. Damn, is he looking for another baby? I'm joking. I couldn't do it. No. Good morning, Shonda, Lynn. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's morning report. Happy Easter to you all. Hello from DC. I love DC. I got to visit DC back in 2018, I think it was, and it was a really beautiful time. You guys, why don't we get into the Caitlyn Lowell story, shall we? Or should I say Caitlyn Baltera? It's so funny how long we stick to a woman's maiden name, right? It's just that we've known her for so long under this name. It's her public brand and stuff. So although her last name has changed, it's just kind of like, a habit at this point for like branding purposes. But I digress. Anyway, this story, I'm surprised it actually didn't get much traction, to be honest with you. There was a conversation that Caitlyn had there was a conversation that Kate and Ty had on their podcast called Kate and Ty Break It Down, right? And it kind of felt as though Tyler was hinting that he wanted Kate to get some sort of a breast reduction, right? So he was talking, they were talking about some like Dancing with the Stars, someone being able to do some incredible like moves. And Kate said she couldn't, like, I don't have that kind of endurance. My body's different, blah, blah, blah. And so Tyler says, first off, when I'm looking down at you, your boobs are pretty much suffocating you. And then Kate agreed. And she said that she can't even see sometimes because her boobs are in her eyes. I said, damn, that is crazy. Like in your eye, like I know she has a big knockers, but I didn't know they were in her eyes or whatever. What kind of push-up bra are you wearing, Miss Thing, right? And so then the conversation took a turn towards surgery, right? And so Tyler asked Caitlyn at this point whether or not she'd ever thought about getting a breast reduction surgery, to which Kate responds, I've definitely thought about it a lot, but yeah, I'm just a sissy bitch. Okay. So she has a fear of getting cut open in general. So like, she doesn't want to go under the knife for elective surgery. And so Tyler says, listen, Kate, you've given birth 4 times. You should be able to handle the pain of a breast reduction surgery. Not us ambushing our wife on a podcast to tell her we think she needs to take her boobs down a notch. Okay. Damn. Right. And so at this point, Kate says that she's always had anxiety after undergoing any type of surgery in general. Like she, of course, has like other mom friends who have had breast reduction surgeries and whatnot, and who have said that it's the best thing that they'd ever done. But Kate isn't really like sold on the idea yet. She says that she's still scared because anything can happen, right? Like, for example, like one of her biggest fears when it comes to breast reduction surgery is the idea of, because, they have to manually put your nipples back on. She's worried about, a necrosis, right? Of it like changing color, falling off, things like that. And so, listen, I totally understand why she would be anxious about it. Surgery, as much as it has kind of been rendered almost like casual in today's society, it still is a very big deal and it still carries its own sort of risks. So I definitely understand why she would be hesitant about going under the knife, especially when she's got multiple children, right? So come on now. it kind of felt like to me that that's something that Tyler wants for her more than she wants for herself, right? And I'm not saying like that he's pushing her this or that, but just based off of the fact that he's the one who brought it up and is like, oh, come on, you've had kids. Like, you can do this, right? It's kind of like, all right. All right. I'm just saying. Thank you, Chocolate Drop. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love that it shows up that way because I'm seeing like a beautiful like nectarine orange, but in real life it's like roses red. Hey Lynn, I have a chip with him. I would when the money converts to join in all it. What chip? What chip? Leah says, good morning, running late and watching on 2x but almost caught up. We believe in you, Leah. I'll try to speak a little bit slower for you so you can catch up. Ellen says, of course, Ty would say that. VR says, I don't. Oh, you're talking about the sensitivity chip. Kel says he is missing it too. Acacia says, wow, no, Tyler didn't. Ooh, unfortunately, he did. Tadisha says, if she has anxiety about the surgery, she shouldn't do it. It's her body after all. I agree completely, right? And like, listen, although she says that her breasts sometimes, block her vision a little bit, like, I don't, maybe there are other ways to like go around it, how do you like, ladies with the juicy boobies, how do you handle it? Like, what do you do? Like, because I was going to say maybe she can wear like a sports bra to kind of like compress them a bit so they're not like too much, in her eyes or something like that. But I'm one of like the little, go bra free type of girlies. So I have no room to be giving anybody advice on anything like this. I am not so blessed as you ladies are. Petty Lavelle says, I heard the procedures are very painful. And you know what? In that vein, in addition to apparently being rather painful, the scarring is not that great as well sometimes, or very often. I think you can get some kind of like laser, like resurfacing or whatever to try and erase the scar, but it's like this kind of like vertical anchoring kind of a scar that not every woman wants to have. And there is also the possibility that it grows back. So as you guys know, my regular morning report viewers, I have been doing a rewatch of Vanderpump Rules. Right now I'm on season 7, and in seasons 5 and 6, Stassi was talking about her breast reduction surgery and how she had to get it done twice. Like, she got it the first time, they grew right on back, and so she had to do it again, right? So, it would really suck if Kate did this, underwent all the risks against her better judgment, like she doesn't really seem to want to do this, right? Only for them to grow back again. Like, things can happen, right? Hernandez says, I wonder if she still smokes cigarettes. I'm pretty sure that she does, to be honest with you. I've never seen anything to the contrary, because I feel like if she were to quit, that would have been an interesting storyline for the show, considering she has smoked on the show quite frequently, right? Lynn says that Tyler often talks nasty about her looks. I do remember the I don't want no heifer for a wife era. That was a pretty brutal era. But I do think that he has improved since. I don't remember him recently, but yeah, this episode definitely kind of got me thinking, oh, that's a little bit, it's giving your wish, right? BR says, I don't trust anything Tyler says about physique after he talked about, oh, there you go, not wanting a fat heifer for a wife while she was overweight and on Weight Watchers and clearly self-conscious. Honestly, sometimes when I'm on TikTok and whatnot, I do see some old clips of Kate on the show circling online or swirling online, and just seeing the way that she's been treated by just literally everybody in her life, including Tyler during this era, his mom very often for several years and whatnot, her mom, but Tyler's dad, Butch. Like, it makes me so sad for her. Like, she really has been beat up from all sides pretty much her whole entire life. And then don't forget, right, the public as well watching. Keisha says, if Kate decides to get healthy, she could do that naturally. Is that a thing? Like, if you lose weight, because is it fat? Like, what's in the boobs? Is it fat or something like that? Like, they would go down with you? You know what? Maybe that's it. Because I do hear about this, for example, ladies who are really into like weightlifting, they typically go on to get boob jobs, because in doing so much weightlifting and I guess like watching their nutrition so much, they lose a lot of their boobs, like if not completely. So maybe that is, she doesn't have to go that extreme, but maybe, getting into something like that can help with it as well. That's a good point, Acacia. Kristen says, I lost 85. Really? Oh my God. Congratulations, Kristen. That is no easy feat. That is no small feat. And want a breast lift, but I'm also terrified about the nipple removal part. For the breast lift too, damn. The idea that you could take a nipple out of it is just so crazy to me, because in addition to the possibility of necrosis, what about like sensitivity, right? Because like the nerve endings and whatnot, if it's removed, how does that work? Like I just got so many questions about it. Juicy fruit. Ali says, I've had a few friends have surgeries because they've had huge breasts and wearing sports bras was not an option because it was really. You see, this is what I mean when I said I have no business giving suggestions, because I really, like I'm not blessed with the way that some of you ladies are, to me, that's what I would have suggested. But obviously when you're actually really working with something, it's a completely different ball game. Cami says, I do remember when Tyler said, I don't want no heifer for a wife. That was messed up when he said that, right? It really wasn't cool, and I really thought they were going to divorce that season. Like he was at his wits end with Caitlyn, and Caitlyn was really like in a deep and dark place herself. It was a very, very unhealthy time for them. Wasn't it the season after that they did a trial separation and everything? Like their relationship really has been through it all, truly. Me too, Shani, me too. Yesterday when I went to bachata class, I wore this like backless top with no bra, just twirling in the wind. My sister used to make fun of me for that too, because my sister, she's part of like the Juicy Booby community, and she used to make fun of me so much. But you know what? I like where I'm at too. Ronnie says it really is not an easy decision for Kate to make. Exactly. Surgery is a very, 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 very big deal, you guys. And so it's something that nice. It's something that you have to want to do on your own. So do not let other people pressure you into doing it, right? So I'm really actually proud of her for just sticking to her guns and saying, hey, listen, I do not take surgery lightly. It's not something that I'm in a place to do right now. When I've looked at some of the risks, these are the risks associated. And for me right now, where I'm at, I don't personally think that it's worth it. And I think that that's fair, right? I think at that point, you got to leave it alone, right? That's what I would do if I were her spouse or whatever. I'd kind of just leave it alone at that point. So nice to see y'all trickling in. A good morning, Hamlet's Princess, V Marie. Nice to see y'all. Nice to see y'all. And look, you are an influencer, Allie. You've got Cal's running off to get a big old tub of coconut oil. Minnie says, I had a double mastectomy, so not exactly the same, but have no feeling in my breasts anymore. And I have heard you can lose feeling as well for a reduction. I'm so sorry to hear about your mastectomy, Minnie, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, at least right now. Yeah, that is a very, very big risk that, like, when you do anything involving your breasts, because of, just how intricate it is, you can, lose sensation, you can suffer necrosis and whatnot. It is a huge, huge, huge deal. So again, I'm proud of Kate for standing her ground. I feel like the old Kate could have been talked into something like that, but the Kate of today, no, she's standing on business, and I love that for her. We've got a super chat from DG Mac. Thank you so much for your super chat. DD says, is that how Kanye West's mom passed away recovering from breast surgery? If it's necessary, I guess it's worth the risk. And that is a good point, because I believe she did what Kale just did, right? Kale, she got a lift reduction, and then she went and got like a tummy tuck and lipo again. So Kanye's mom did that, essentially the mommy makeover. So the boobs and to get the stomach done as well. And it really was a lot on her body. And ultimately, she wound up passing away as a result of complications with the surgery, And the thing about these things is sometimes you think you made it out of the clear. Remember, wasn't there that influencer as well? She was this beautiful blonde lady, and she was very, very young. She was with that dude McFly, Jazz something. She underwent a mommy makeover as well. So she got her boobs, she got lipo, tummy tuck, BBL, all that stuff. And she woke up from the surgery, right? She was recovering in a hotel or surgery, in a hotel. And then she passed away after due to a clot and whatnot. Like, it really is risky business. Thanks again for the super chat, Dee. And again, you guys, proud of Kate. I really like the way that she has kind of like, really stood her ground on a lot of things lately, because she didn't used to be like that. And thank you, Tiff and Tadisha. It was Jackie O, so young as well, to pass away like that. And she was so beautiful. She already had like, perfect face, perfect body. Like, Oh, even Kanye's mom, like Kanye's mom had like she was a middle-aged woman and she had a nice body, like she had a nice face, like she, like it's really sad. It really, really, really is. Ali says, if you go and have it done, don't go see Dr. Miami from the Real Housewives of, the Miami doctor. My friend had to go back twice with him. Oh my God. You really got to be careful. In fact, didn't I hear a story? I imagine you guys heard it too, but there was somebody here who in New York or something. And this is the craziest story, you guys. This lady went to get like her butt injections removed. And she didn't go to a doctor's clinic. She went to somebody's townhouse, like in New York or something like that, just the other week to get it removed. And unfortunately, obviously, the house is not fit to host surgery, right? I imagine it wasn't hygienic or anything like that. And she wound up passing away too. Be very careful, y'all. Hey, Angelica, first time watching live. Usually I'm at work, but called off yesterday. We had a party for my cousin for getting baptized and his confirmation. My parents were asked to be his godparents. How beautiful. It sounds like you were having quite the beautiful weekend of celebrations. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm happy that you're here for your first live. That's awesome. See, that's why I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and go live on Monday anyway, because, with more people being at home, maybe some people who've never been able to tune in for the morning report will be able to tune in. I'm Josh Kidding says, after 4 kids, I got a mommy makeover 3 years ago, changed my life. I would just make sure you save your money and don't go to a chop shop. Yup. I love my surgeon. He was safe and amazing. And I'm glad that you got the best results as well, right? Like you just got to make sure you go for the right person, you guys, and also make sure that you're in good shape too, like your health, not just physical shape, you work out, you eat well, but like your health. Make sure your blood levels, everything is in a good place, because that's risky too. Now, you guys, let's get into the Real Housewives of Potomac, shall we? The Grande Dame, Karen Huger. I love putting up this photo of her because of like the necklace. Like it's so beautiful. I love canary yellow diamonds. And by the way, can I say, who's my girl? Shem Jam. If you're watching from Mexico, shout out to you. I hope you're having a really, really good vacation in Mexico. So Shem is always here for the morning report. And on Friday's episode, she was telling us that she's off to Mexico. So shout out to you, Shem. Shout out to you, Theo. I hope you're having a good move as well. And shout out to you, boss lady. I hope your new job is going well. And I thought of Shem because I was talking about Karen's jewelry. And Shem and I have the same taste in jewelry. We both love cushion cut. We both love Art Deco. And we both love like lab diamonds, right? So yeah. Anyway, Karen Huger, she's in jail, you guys. She's been in jail since January. So crazy to think that our girl has been, in there for 4 months already. She was eligible for a work release, you guys, meaning that she would be able to transfer to a different facility geared towards rehabilitation that looks more like a college dorm than a jail, right? And so it was something that would kind of resemble more so normal life. And so she put in a bid to be able to get out and go over to that sort of a facility instead. And the corrections officials approved her application or dossier or whatever. And then all it was left down to was the judge. Is the judge going to sign off on this and let Miss Thang, move out of the jail? Well, ultimately, the judge decided to veto that and to say absolutely not. So this is a judge who's known to be rather, stern on certain people. And I got to be honest with you. Listen, as much as I liked Karen, and I got to be, I really loved her. She was my girl on Potomac. And then when I found out that she did the whole DUI thing, drunk driving, I was like, I hate that. I really cannot stand drunk driving, right? Like it's just too many innocent people lose their lives to this. And then when I found out this was her 4th time doing it, it completely forever changed my view of her. To me, I find that to be unforgivable. And so, as much as I loved her once upon a time, I think that the judge was right to deny her this because she needs to learn her lesson and she needs to go ahead and spend the full year in jail. In fact, a year in jail is already very, very lenient considering her reckless disregard for the safety of herself and other people as well, right? I don't like that. Karen, I'm sorry. I feel like a traitor, right? I am betraying the rest of the Les Dames, but I can't get behind drunk driving. I really can't. Jaleesa says, I'm watching this from the comfort of my couch. Yes, girl. I hope you're wearing your PJs, maybe some ice cream. I usually have to sneak to listen to you at work. I love that. And thanks so much for sneaking to listen every day at work, Jaleesa. Faye says, and by the way, if you guys want to know why I do recap the Valley these days, it's because of our girl Jaleesa. Okay, so shout out to you for that. Faye says, hey, made it to the live at the grocery store with my headphones on. Starting from the beginning, just wanted to say good morning to everyone. I love that. Happy grocery shopping, Faye. Pick me up some beef jerky, some spicy beef jerky, jalapeno beef jerky. Sweet and sour beef jerky, teriyaki. I just love beef jerky and I'm craving it now all of a sudden. Or maybe cottage cheese. Y'all know how impossible it is to find cottage cheese around here? Like, I don't know why they don't really do cottage cheese. All the cheese we have, and cottage cheese isn't one of them. Lucky says, my mom just asked if she was still in jail. The news came just in time. Let me go update her. Oh, there you go, Lucky. There you go. Spill the tea. And I love that your mom asked for this kind of tea. That is too cool. Ronnie says, glad she's still in there. Low key, me too. Eddie says, yeah, she needs to stay in there. She already got a light sentence. Exactly. Like, she, instead of being mad that you don't get out on this workers' release, Karen, be thankful that you only got 1 year. In my opinion, the girl deserved like 5 to 10. At this point, even if nobody was hurt this time, the fact that you've done this 4 times, give her 5 to 10 years. Cal says Karen has been caught 4 times. Just imagine how many times she is exactly actually driven intoxicated. She should remain exactly where she is. And I completely agree. Well said. I'm happy we're all on the same page here. We're not, too quote unquote starstruck to call a spade and to condemn dangerous actions such as this. Now, you guys, I got this short little Kanye West update that I really want to speed by before we take a little bit of a water break here, okay? Y'all remember when Kanye West released that song? What is it? Bianca, why did you leave me? Come back. Oh, don't know what I did to make you mad. That mess. Well, it looks like that little love song worked. And now there he is with Bianca at an Indian restaurant in Spain. You guys, they're back together. Anyway, listen, that's all I'm giving you on that because we don't really care about Kanye West like that on this channel, okay? Let me go ahead and take a little bit of a sip of water, okay? We got a word from some of our sponsors, and on the flip side, we've got a little bit more story. We're actually going to be talking about Kristen Stewart. Do y'all remember her from Twilight? Where's this picture of Kristen Stewart and her wedding? I got a picture of her on... Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go fishing for that picture of her on her wedding. And we're going to talk about it after the break, okay? If you're enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. And I'll catch you on the flip side.
The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Rothia. Rothia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product, the Resilience Cream, delivers clinically proven age prevention benefits such as average 14% wrinkle reduction after 4 weeks of use. Click the link below and receive 30% off your first purchase today.
All righty then. So here we are down to our final story of the day. Wait, let's see what y'all had to say about the Kanye West thing. I didn't actually even get to look at it before I went off on break. So Tiff says, cottage cheese more of an American delicacy. Karen knows she better sit there and learn her lesson. And I'm so sad because now I'm like on Fit Talk and I'm hearing so much about cottage cheese and I want to start like, implementing it into my diet and I have no options. I have to order it online on like Amazon or something like that, or Monoprix. East Austin says Karen needs to ride out 2025 in the clinker. That's it. And I completely agree. Nice to see you, Tiff. And thank you so much, East Austin. Thank you. I'm starting to wear more color other than black now that the sun is coming out. Ali says that was a PR stunt, and I completely agree. Here's the thing. Let me put that picture back up real quickly for you guys. But Kanye has the worst PR stunts because they're just so boring. Like, really, you're back together with her? Okay, now what? Or oh, really, you're a Nazi? That's crazy. Like, what? How does this benefit your music in any way? Like, he has lost the plot. He truly has, right? It's crazy. Kanye is no longer in my algorithm. There you go. And I love that. No more Kanye anymore. Acacia says, not surprised. Bianca must need to check. And that's the thing. Like, if she is legally married to him, how long have they been married? Let me take a look at this, because is she not, when did Kanye, and I still don't think, hang on. I can't think and type at the same time. Bianca. Apparently they got married in December of 2022. So it's 2.5 years. How many years until she can get some money and like move on, right? Because Ariana Grande was married for like a minute, to Dalton Gomez. And then he got like $1 million or $2 million in the divorce as kind of like a hush gift. So wouldn't like Bianca already qualify for this? Because I think that her continuing to align herself with this guy, be seen with him and stuff, like at first, like she could have, when he claimed that she left, this would have been perfect for her. The whole like, oh, I don't align with these views, those views, blah, blah. Like, okay, now you are not like, someone that's like socially outcasted, right? For agreeing with this nonsense. But the fact that you're still with this guy, and we heard you took the Royce. Why didn't you go ahead and sell that thing? Anyway, hey, Kahara, nice to see you. Happy Easter. And hey, Star, we missed you, boo. You know what we said on Friday? We said, where's Star? Does she find herself someone rich in Miami? She's on a jet somewhere. Nice to see you, boo. I'm so busy. I'm in the playback posse, and I love that. Thank you, Star. Cal says, guess Bianca said somebody has to pay my bills. Listen, Bianca, girl, you qualify for some money. Talk to an attorney. You were entitled to compensation at this point. You don't have to do this anymore, boo. This is just embarrassing. It really is. Now, you guys, why don't we get into our final story of the day? Let's talk about Kristen Stewart. There she is on the right-hand side, putting her ring on her wife's ring finger at their wedding. Congratulations to Kristen and her wife, Dylan Meyer, for getting married in Los Angeles at their home on Sunday. Listen, as far as weddings go, I think that, celebrities getting married at their homes is so romantic. I find like micro weddings so romantic. I find, what is this called? Courthouse weddings. I find them so chic, so elegant, so romantic as well. Like, I like when people with means just go and do something that's just them, laid back, casual, elopement, like anything, right? And they don't have to do this huge, production for everybody else. I think it's a really beautiful thing. I think big, beautiful weddings are beautiful too, but I like when people do things that are like, a little different, a little smaller, a little bit more intimate. And I actually really like what her wife is wearing here. I do think maybe, the transparent bottoms, could have been something else instead of like a blue or something like that. But I liked like the little, what do you call this? The bow in her hair and whatnot. Like, I think it's overall rather cute. I think Kristen could have stood to, maybe re-up a little bit of her hair dye before this wedding, but I digress. That is neither here nor there. Again, they got married in their home on Sunday. So just yesterday, some celebrities were in attendance, including Ashley Benson and Brandon Davis. For those of you who do not know, the two of them started dating in 2019 after meeting in 2013 on a movie set. Then they got engaged 2021, 2 years later, when Dylan proposed to Kristen. And they did an interview in Rolling Stone magazine in which Kristen Stewart said that she is planning on having kids soon. And so stay tuned for that. I don't know what route they're going to go down. I think it's going to be really cool if, maybe they both get to carry or something like that. Speaking of like, lesbian couples having children and whatnot, there's, and I keep saying this, like, Kale's friendship podcast with Becky. I don't really care for it. It's not that interesting. I actually think Becky has gold on her hands, when it comes to like her relationship and whatnot and what they're going through. So Becky and her wife, they did this thing where they went to a sperm bank, they found a donor, and they wanted like 2 different eggs, right? So they wanted for the wife to carry the sperm mixed with Becky's egg, and then for Becky to carry the sperm mixed with the wife's egg. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? So I do wonder if that's something that Kristen and her wife are looking into. Are they looking into adoption? Something else, I think that's really cool. So congratulations to them on that. Speaking of lesbians, listen, lesbians, I got a bone to pick with. Do we have any lesbians in the crowd? I have a bone to pick with you. I'm just joking. I went to this place called Rosa Bonheur yesterday. And it's this like It's like this boat on the water on the Seine. And so, Rosa Bonheur in general in Paris is known as being like kind of like a really gay friendly sort of a spot. Like there's two locations where it's like mainly like gay men who go there, but everyone can go there, right? And then the boat is like everyone, but like you have to be like an ally of the LGBT. You can't be a hater in there, right? And so I like to go there a lot, especially like in the summer. You guys know already I have so many gay friends, right? And so it's so funny because one of my friends yesterday, she invited me to go there with her cousin and her brother, right? And so we pull up, and so they go, are you guys lesbians? We're like, no, they're like lesbians only. And then the guy was there with us as well. So they said, no, we don't want, no men. And I was like, oh my God, that's the first time that's ever happened to me. All the gay clubs I've been to and everything like that. But I guess it's like a different game with like women, because it is true. I don't see too many like lesbian only places. So apparently it's Sundays. If you guys are here in town and if you're lesbian, Sundays are for you at Rosa Bonheur sur Seine on the Seine River. And if you're not lesbian, stay away because it's not for you. Okay. Just an FYI. Tiff says that she's happy that Kristen is living her truth. Me too. Listen, I think everyone should be living their truth, right? It's unfortunate that not everyone can, right? Unfortunately, there are certain countries, communities that are not so welcoming of the LGBTQ community. But I'm thankful that, she's able to. Hey, Queenola. Bianca signed a prenup though. Really? I hope it's something in the prenup, at least $1 million or $2 million. Damn, like, keeping Kanye West secrets, like having an NDA, that's got to be worth something because that man is off his damn rocker. Hey, Cynthia from Nashville. So nice to see you over here. Thank you. Sisoti says, I agree. It shows that it's not about optics. Right? That's what I think it is. It just feels something so pure about it. Kristen says she had a micro wedding at a beautiful Airbnb and it was such a perfect day. Small was perfect. I love that. That is so beautiful. Is this a picture from your micro wedding, Kristen? Let me zoom in on you. Oh, I love it. And I love your dress. You know how I love your dress and everything. You look so pretty. So pretty, Kristen. I just love hearing you guys' stories. It's just always so nice. And I spend so much time with like, a lot of like my morning report crew and whatnot. And I it's just so cool being able to like remember like, extra details about you guys and whatnot. JJ loves frugal people. Me too. Oh, Lord, I love saving $1. Julissa says, I put cottage cheese in my scrambled. Yes, you see, these are the things that I want to do, but unfortunately, it's kind of hard to get cottage cheese around here. Jaleesa spent less than $1,000 on her wedding. Damn, how'd you do that, Jaleesa? Was it just you two? Like, was it at a courthouse? And like, what's the tea? That's really cool. Who hooked you up with the flowers and the food and everything? Congrats to them, indeed. Patty says, I always thought it was wild to have a huge wedding every time you get, like the J-Los and the Kim Kardashians and whatnot. Like, that's crazy. I do have a question. I'm talking too much. I can't ask this question. Should I ask the question? Here's my question, you guys. Let me go ahead and ask the question. It's Easter Monday. Let me go ask the question. So my question is this, in the spirit of Petty LaBelle's comment, okay? She says, I always thought it was wild to have a huge wedding every time, right? So people who are like married like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, right? Like after how many is it kind of like, listen, I got to chill, or at least not ask people for gifts or to go out of their way, spend all this money for me, right? Because it's like, come on now, right? That's what I think about when I think about Kim Kardashian talking about she wants to get married for a 4th time, or J-Lo still, dreaming about getting married again. I'm like, when does it? Because, I'm like so like awkward and shy about certain things. Like to me, I like after like the second one, I'd probably just kind of be like, I'm going to keep it small on myself, this person, I don't even know if I'd still invite my family. I'd be like, listen, you guys could stay. You know what I mean? And so my other question was, it reminds me of people, kind of like Kale or like Nick Cannon and whatnot. Like, do you still use the same doctor every single time if you're going to be having a kid with a different person? So if you're having like kids with like, 5, 6, 7 different 8, 8, 9, 10 different men or women, do you keep bringing them to the same doctor? Or do you like kind of like doctor hop a little bit so you don't have to like, go through the awkwardness of introducing them to the new, to the new person you're raw dogging? Just curious. Acacia says Becky needs to run with her podcast before they have a fallout, which we all know will happen. I agree. Becky, your life and everything that you've got going on is really cool. And I think it could be really inspiring to a lot of people. So, don't take it for granted, really. Cami says, congratulations to Kristen Stewart. If she's happy, that's all that matters. Period. I'm loving all the love in this community. Hey, from Germany. Hey, boo. Paris is a movable feast. So nice to see you. Where are you at in Germany? I like Germany. Where have I been? I was in Hamburg. You know what? Hang on. Frankfurt. I'm looking at my fridge magnet. Frankfurt. Of course, Kristen. It's always so nice to see your picture. So lovely. After 2, you need to chill. Right? That's what I think too. I think, 1 or 2 is okay. But then when you get into more, sure, keep going. But then to have big weddings each time, it's I don't know. Today is Boston Marathon. Is it? Okay. Congratulations to everybody running that marathon. That takes so much discipline. Kel says, after the second marriage, I also feel about over the top baby showers after the second child, right? Acacia says, I think Kel has switched doctors multiple times because no one else can make her happy. Damn. My German boo says, I live in Hanover, Lower Saxony. Super duper cool. Thanks for tuning in. So nice to have you. You guys, that's it. We've come to the end of today's Easter Monday morning report. Per usual, it's been amazing chatting with you guys, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's episode. So, if this is your first time tuning in for the morning report, we go live every single weekday morning to talk about the day's hottest stories. So stay tuned. All week, we'll be here at 10 a.m. Okay, Princess Tia says, I have it up on my TV while watching your videos. Love that. Enjoy, Tia. Enjoy the rest of your holidays, you guys. Again, if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up on your way out. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to talk about Teen Mom. I'm going to do a live recap on that tomorrow as well, okay? Take care, you guys. Bye.